Okay, we are at chapter 29. We're almost done with how to ruin your life, so you'll know how not to. Show everyone around you that you are holier than thou. Don't hide that halo. When anyone in your path does something you don't like, cite some passage from the Bible and make it clear that the other person is evil or a fool. When you're criticized, imagine. Quote some prayer or line of scripture that compares your martyrdom with that of a famous saint. When you're served a dish of some kind at your friend's home, bring up some moral objection to eating it. This accomplishes the dual function of making your host feel bad for having wasted their time and also making them feel as if they're spiritually deficient. This double whammy guarantees that you'll be considered superior to everyone in your world. So what if they resent you for making them feel lowly? Don't the great prophets and saviors always end up being persecuted? Is that not by itself a clear sign of your elevated position? Now, if you're in a house of worship, pray louder than everyone else. If the prayer is in a foreign language, make sure you speak up really loudly so other people will know you're proficient in Latin or Hebrew or whatever. If some political issue arises in conversation, such as waging war on terrorists, stop the conversation cold by saying that you're too pious and holy to even think about wars where people are getting hurt or killed. If anyone near you is discussing the stock market and you don't feel for the moment like bragging about your investment prowess, simply say that you don't feel like talking about sordid money matters. And if some fool who you borrowed money from asks for it back, perhaps you can look at him pityingly and say, "'Tis better to give than to receive." And maybe a few lines about how sorry you are that the person is such a money-obsessed Philistine. Then sigh and say you're really too busy thinking about the Bible to have to be concerned with repaying a few trivial earthly obligations right now. Then look heavenward and mention usury. This, by the way, is simply a great way to ruin your marriage. Just act as if overnight you've become morally superior to your spouse, and see how it makes him or her love you all the more. Because it's not. The world needs to know that you're a holy being above this earthly veil. And this might as well start at home. This especially applies to young people. You'll really make a big start towards that grandeur that is your due if you present yourself as being above your elders. Begin by simply saying that you won't eat your mother's cooking because she murdered animals to make it. Watch her face fall and the color rise in her face. Then tell your father that whatever he does, there's blood on his money. And remind all of the people in the neighborhood that they're killers and imperialists and you're better than they are, or simply imply it by your disdainful facial expressions. Yes, you can feel the holiness surging through you. Can't you? Enjoy it. This works almost unimaginably well for people you've known for the better part of your life. Try waking up one morning. That would be helpful, waking up. Try waking up one morning as your husband is making you sausage and say to him, "I don't eat the flesh of living creatures, and neither would you if you had any decency." Or when your wife starts getting dressed to go to work, ask her if she realizes that the lipstick she's wearing was tested on poor innocent rabbits who were tortured to death so that she could look nice. That'll help you. Or if your next door neighbor's son has just joined the military, tell them how nice it must be to have a child who's in training to kill innocent people overseas. It sure does ring people's bell to be called names and to have you lord over them with your self-important, holier-than-thou attitude. Try it for a while. See how much the little people love and worship you, their new god or goddess. It should really bring a smile to your face. This is the end of chapter 29 of Ben Stein's book. The chapter was called, oh yes, Show Everyone Around You That You're Holier Than Thou. If you grew up in church, you'll actually know what that means. If not, I'll explain it in the comments. You like my blue booze? And you know, gotta have as much blue on right now as humanly possible just so I can tell everybody about human trafficking and raise awareness. So please join me in wearing blue.